Welcome back to the Comic Book Guys. Just speaking with Phil, Hayden, and Steve. Guys, this has been awesome. I've been away for a couple of weeks. It was a bit unwell, but I'm so glad to be back with you guys. To chat about the wonderful nerd news, which is absolutely amazing. But all right, so.
What's going on?
Come on, Hayden, you got to do it.
we got like a bromance between Phil and Steve going on over here. What's going on?
I know, right? Before the video started, it's like, I'm not. All I can see is Phil. I'm like, oh, it's okay. If I'm not good enough, that's fine. Oh, that was funny. But anyway, so Hayden, how are you today, mate?
I'm doing pretty good. We're doing a little earlier, so it's kind of like the middle of my day. So it's nice to take a break from the daily grind, working on the next comic book I've got coming. And so it's just nice to take a break, and it's Friday. So yeah, that's how I am. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing good. I've been binge watching the Comic Book Men, Kevin Smith's guys. I've binge watched every season that they have available so far.
Oh dang, is that a good show?
Yeah, it's quite funny, and there's they just go through all sorts of weird and wonderful comics, and it started off with just talking about comics, but the last couple of seasons have had lots and lots of guests, so it's been good. I quite enjoyed it.
Nice.
That's awesome. But oh man, I guess things for me has been pretty good. Besides just being crook for the past couple of weeks, but I'm back on track. I'm bigger and stronger than ever now. Not as strong as you guys though. So I want to kick it off. So we're all up to date with The Mandalorian, aren't we?
We are. No. Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh,
I haven't been able to watch it at all because of stuff that's been going on in our house. In terms of decorating and what have you. So there we are. But it doesn't bother me if you give spoilers or whatever.
No, we can't. To one Star Wars fan to another, we can't do that to you.
It's one of those things you got to experience. You got to experience it.
Yeah, it's like love. When you fall in love, you got to experience it. Like you can't.
I sure hope so, because how else? I'm a little concerned of the alternative.
Yeah, I wonder what the alternative of falling in love is.
Hey, you're pretty. You're my wife now. Like, I don't know you. Like, get in the van.
Why a van?
Oh no, it was the creepiest thing I could think of.
I love you. We're married. Get in my van.
Well, they're doing TV shows like that these days.
Oh wow, that's a get rich quick scheme there. Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
It's really quite odd.
All right. So anyway, so enough about putting women in vans. Man, I don't want to spoil the last season of The Mandalorian, but man, that last episode just that was one of the best things I had to see. But the way I put it when I watched The Mandalorian, I kind of consider that the sequel to like all the prequels and all that. That was absolutely amazing. It's just the CGI and the surprise character that came in. I think that's no spoiler, Steve. So I'm just letting No, I absolutely was just blown away. Like it was just so awesome. So yeah, Hayden, how did you feel about it?
I really liked it. It's been a while since I watched it, but I thought it was very satisfying. I will say, like Mandalorian, all of the episodes are like this, where I feel like the season finales are always still so open ending, like still so open ended that on one hand it's satisfying, but on the other hand it's like, oh, what? You're just gonna stop right there? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna have to wait over a year to see what happens after that. But
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was really emotional. The score at the end I think is the highlight. Like the song that's going on, and when the certain character shows up and they play some of the older themes, but incorporated with the newer Mandalorian score. Oh, dude, gave me goosebumps. So good.
That was well done. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, Steve, when you get the time, when lockdown is dying down, yeah, I highly recommend it. It is it's like experiencing love and eating Krispy Kreme at the same time. It's just so
Oh man,
sweet and amazing.
dude. Speaking of Krispy, just a life hack. If you don't know this, if you get a cold Krispy Kreme, pop that baby in the microwave, dude. Now you're in love.
Thanks for making my mouth water during a production.
You got it.
The voice from beyond.
He's talking to me again. I keep hearing it. No, I'm joking. Thank you so much, Larry. Yeah. So I don't know why, but I love a cold Krispy Kreme.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
even know what a Krispy Kreme is.
Krispy Kreme is a double cheeseburger. No, I'm joking. It's a donut.
Okay.
It's a great donut. They're great.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a donut. Right, so you have a donut, and then of the higher donuts of the donuts is Krispy Kreme.
So it's the king
Hope
of
I-
donuts.
Yes, but I would
Yeah.
say here's my thing. I will say I might get shot on sight for this, but I think the Krispy Kreme glazed donut is really the only good donut at Krispy Kreme. Everything else isn't very good, but everything else is too rich for me. But the original glazed, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely perfect. But anyway, let's get back to the
Donuts.
Donuts. All right. So yeah, no, I was going to say, Steve, when you get the time, you'll absolutely love the last season. The last episode, all the new characters, you'll absolutely love.
I will endeavor to watch it as soon as I can.
Thank you.
I
Make
don't know
sure you
whether-
you have donuts.
Yeah.
All right. So WandaVision. You probably haven't seen it yet, Steve.
No.
No. I will kick it off with Hayden, but Hayden, I might actually pull up your post and read a little bit of that, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, some guy actually wrote a massive comment. Wow. Okay. All right. So, Hayden, you uploaded that, gave your little review on it, and I think that was awesome. So, okay, I'm just gonna be honest here. I'm really struggling with WandaVision. I finished it last week, and it was a cool concept. Was at first, I was honestly bothered by it. I don't like how Wanda acts like a villain, but is still treated like a hero, and people she's taken hostage, treated people ungrateful jerks who don't recognize how awesome she is. But anyway, I will let you finish off what you wrote. But I actually enjoyed what you wrote down. I think you actually summed up what a lot of people were thinking. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the show, but there were some things where I was like, oh, so let down. Like they had a character from one of the X-Men movies come in, and you think, wait, is it him? Like, did they grab him from an alternate universe? And then you eventually get let down. Sorry, Steve, that's not really a spoiler. There
No,
was
that's fine.
picked, yeah.
You,
Yeah,
you,
all right, cool.
carry on as if I'm not here.
But-
you
but-
see me?
You John Cena? What was that?
Man, I'm having too much donuts. So there was a lot of things that I loved about it. Look, don't get me wrong, I loved the show. Like, I geeked out about it, but there was just some moments where I was like, where one of the characters in Sword was like, "Oh, I have this special friend," and they were looking for their friend, and you were like, "Okay, is it going to be a big character coming in?" And then it ended up being a no one. I'm like, oh, like, I was a bit let down on that. I was like, that would have been a great opportunity to bring someone in, but yeah. But don't get me wrong, I loved it, but some parts it was a bit confusing. But hey, Hayden, I'll kick it off with you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to say without spoiling stuff, but I also think the thing that I'm gonna touch on, like Steve will be able to talk about too, just because it's like we've talked about the problem that I'm gonna talk about, we've talked about before, and so I think I'd love to hear your opinions on it too, Steve. But like, essentially, my problem with it, kind of like what I said in the post, is like, and like, here's the thing, I don't like. Here's this is just an aside. But I don't like how a lot of people who at first were criticizing WandaVision and said that they didn't like it were being criticized, and people were saying, "Oh, that's just because it didn't match up to your fan theories." And for me, it's like, dude, I mean, yeah, fan theories are cool, but I'm not gonna flip out if my favorite fan theory doesn't happen. Like, I don't expect a fan theory to happen because they're fan theories. That's the whole point. But like, to go with the X-Men thing, that part made me mad because it's like he had way too big of a part to be just a cameo, but then you find out he's a nobody, and you find out that whole like weird cameo, like he plays himself as he was in the X-Men movies, but then he's not. So you think he's gonna be a bigger role, and you find out he's a nobody, and you're like, why did they even do that then? You know, like, why did they have him in the show for that long if it was just an outstretched cameo? Anyway, that's just an old man complaint right there. But my main issue that I have is like the way that I felt is Wanda did awful things in that show. Like, she did some awful things, and it never really felt like the awful things that she did were really condemned. Like, they kind of hint at it a little bit, but they never quite get there. And she's like the main character of the show, and she does like awful things to these innocent people. And then at the end, when she finally is convinced to stop doing it, the people who she's been torturing are portrayed as the bad guys. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, for me, like, I had a huge problem with that. And I also just had a problem where it's like, she doesn't act like a hero. Like, the hero aspect of it is just not there. Like, the true hero, I would say, like, the person who acts like a hero the most is Vision, but he's not the main character, and he kind of gets, like, sidelined for the majority of it. And then it just felt like, for me, it felt like the whole good versus evil aspect was just taken away, and instead it was more of a kind of like, well, Wanda thinks it's right, so even if it's hurting people, she's still the good guy because her truth is more important than saving other people. And another thing that I had a big problem with that I didn't write about in the post, but was the fact, and I don't know about the comics of what Scarlet Witch was in the comic books, but I didn't like how deep they went in with the witchcraft. Like, they really introduced like a heavy witchcraft aspect that was, like, to me, borderline demonic. And they talk about like the Book of the Damned. So I don't know, Steve, if like in the older books that she was like that. Like, I don't know if that was a thing or not.
No, in the older books, it was sort of glossed over, and she had certain powers, but you never went into them in depth. But I mean, the Scarlet Witch for me was the Scarlet Witch in the sort of red costume with the big pointy ears and what have you. And probably from the Avengers comics of the 70s and 80s. But witchcraft is it's seen as an acceptable thing these days, and it's seen as acceptable because the majority of people don't class it as real, whereas it is very real, and you can slip a lot of real things into what's supposed to be well, from a Harry Potter point of view, kids aspects of programs, but it's just the way of the world at the moment, and you've either got to give up watching virtually anything that's got any sort of form of witchcraft, or you are or you sort of censor it from your youngsters. So because witchcraft is something that I've come across. It's something quite heavily used in Wales.
Okay.
I don't know whether it is where you guys are from, but it's something that's quite heavily used in Wales, and it is a real, and it is real, and it's quite a powerful thing if used in the wrong way. And it was like in comic book guys, they had a Ouija board come in to the staff.
Oh wow!
And Kevin Smith, who owns the stash but doesn't run it, was quite perturbed in a sense, and he said you're quite happy to open a portal to hell, which is really what a Ouija board is. And he got it so accurate. I was like, you've had some experience of this. But
yeah,
sorry, I rambled.
No, it's all good.
No, you answered that so correctly. But I would like to call something out. If there is anybody that is experiencing anything with the Ouija boards, I highly suggest that you just chuck it out. I have openly seen people being affected. Like, I haven't seen anyone use them as in such, but I've seen someone tell me they had one. Next day at school, they when they came, they were quite affected. And there was a Christian camp that I led at. It was quite fun. One of the young kids bought one without telling anyone, and there was so many kids just unexpectedly affected. They all stayed in the same kids' cabin, and they saw something, and they all felt really affected, and it is quite dangerous. So I just wanted to point out, and it's like what Steve said, if you're watching something and you're just not feeling comfortable about it, I do suggest that you pray about it, test it with what the Word of God says. It's the Word of God states that if there's a spirit that's conflicting you, test it with the Word of God with prayer. So yeah, I think that's more important when you're watching a lot of things nowadays, because a lot of these things are now accepted, but there's a thing behind it that where it's like what Kevin Smith said, like what you mentioned, Steve. It's a portal to hell.
Yeah. And when I was about 9, 10, my cousin actually brought a Ouija board into school on Toy Day, because he'd been given it for Christmas as a toy, and none of us knew anything about it, so we all just messed around with it. But that's the thing; these things are being sold as toys when they have a real literal meaning behind them, and you're just literally when you're asking for a communication with the dead, you're basically opening up a doorway to a demonic realm, and that is basically what it is. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there aren't such things as ghosts in the way that a lot of people understand them.
Yeah.
But what's actually there is demons pretending, for want of a better word, to be the people who you were trying to contact.
Yes.
And those demons
Yeah,
come through.
absolutely.
And,
Well,
and
even
they can mess people up.
yeah, and even so, I have like I'm not gonna say it, but like I have people in my family who aren't necessarily like believers, but they believe in like they have like a spirituality, but it's not like Christian. But I have people who believe that like the people, their family members who have gone and died are now like angels. And the thing about that is my stepdad actually helped me see was like if you look at every encounter in the Bible of when an angel talks to a human, what's the first thing that happens? The person gets terrified because the angel is never comforting. The angel is never like, oh, hello. The angel like shows up and the person is like, thinks that they're going to die. And then the angel always says, do not be afraid. And like, the thing is, it's like, that's every instance in the Bible of seeing someone meeting with an angel. And you look back at, you hear others, and I've heard stories of people who are like, oh yeah, I saw my grandmother and she made me feel nice and comforted and stuff like that. And that's terrifying because like, that's just not, and like what you said, it could be a demon pretending to be that person. Most likely that it is. Yeah. Yeah. It's terrifying.
It is, and it's quite disturbing these days how we are taught that, or not taught, but it's an assumption that witchcraft is okay because it's not real, and it's one of the ultimate lies of Satan, as far as I'm concerned. Is it goes along with the fact of God isn't real, and Satan is a little fuzzy guy with horns and a pointy tail. It's a matter of we accept these things because we are conditioned that they're not real. And yet when you look into witchcraft, which I have done, and I've looked into witchcraft quite extensively, and come up against witchcraft and come up against various forces, and it's a very real aesthetic, and it's a real thing, and it doesn't you shouldn't basically trifle with it, and that's what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, and I would say I just want to add too, like, so here's the thing, when it comes to seeing like in movies or characters that use it, I think there is a big difference in like, let's say like magic that's portrayed in like Lord of the Rings compared to WandaVision or even Harry Potter. Like I mean, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but I don't have a huge problem with it because it feels more like a superpower than it's actual witchcraft. Now, I mean, there's an argument that there is other stuff, but like to me, it's clearly fiction. And same with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is very, but it's not associated with demons and stuff, and it's
Hayden's frozen.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. I am quite a big Harry Potter fan.
More than anything else.
Sorry. Hayden's coming back in and out.
Yeah, he's frozen here. Well,
Yeah.
it's always on the worst expression that you get frozen on too. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah.
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 He might
But-
have to jump out, come in, but he was doing good.
Yeah.
Hayden, say nothing if you like donuts.
But the thing that I basically the premise that I go on is if you're
John.
feeling uncomfortable, whether it's watching films, listening to music, reading books, if you're feeling uncomfortable in your spirit, then you should leave it there. And I know
Absolutely.
people who are uncomfortable with certain styles of music, and they need to leave it there. But conversely, I know people who are quite comfortable with it. There's a mate of mine who's just passed away, who was a pastor of a church, and yet he liked black metal. But the thing is, he never ever listened to the words, and he just liked the rhythms and the beats.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's a matter of we shouldn't turn around and say that any one thing is bad in itself and ban it from everybody to listen to or watch or whatever. But if you're feeling personally a bit suspect or you just feel that there's something wrong, then butt out of it. Just leave it alone.
I think that was really well said.
Good.
Yeah. Oh man. So getting back on track, I was gonna mention. Well, I think this was a great topic that we spoke about because I know there's a lot of comic book fans out there and a lot of people that don't really look at it in that way. And I think this was a great topic that we could share. Yeah, just understanding what it is. And I think it was great that you could explain it, Steve. That was really, really awesome. Thank you for that. So when Hayden gets back in, I think he would be trying to at the moment. Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Have you heard of that, Steve?
Yeah.
I am absolutely excited to see
Mm.
4 hours of unseen movie that we never got to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, I'll quickly show you that guy there, Darkseid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, and he's going to be in the film, and it is going to be absolutely amazing. I've been watching the updates every day. It comes out in less than a week. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait. So, have you been seeing any of the updates from it?
No, I haven't seen hardly anything about it. I'd heard about the thing, but I've not seen any sort of promotion or updates on it whatsoever.
Yeah, well, after this podcast, I'll send you all the trailers, and yeah, some of the things that I've seen. It's absolutely amazing. I've just I don't know. I just feel like every time I see it, I'm eating donuts. But anyway, it's got to be awesome. A 4 hour movie that none of us has seen.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad that Zack Snyder is getting to do his thing with it.
Yeah,
So-
finish off his vision. But one thing I loved about it is that it was annoying how they got rid of him, and they got Joss Whedon to do it, and some people enjoyed it, but apparently I read up Christopher Nolan that watched the theater cut come out. He actually told Zack Snyder's wife don't let him watch the film. It will break his heart. And so, till this day, Zack Snyder hasn't seen that film. And instead, I remember people would put the hashtag release the Snyder Cut. That was a huge movement. And Zack Snyder just recently came out saying, I think it's a shame that studios don't really listen to the fans, and they, don't want to give what the fans want. And now this movement is definitely going to change things because, people were a fan of Zack Snyder's films, the way that he created them and just the way that he would write the story. It's just incredible. And so, but people were aware what was going on with Warner Brothers. They would invade his films too much and change the movie last second, rewrite, do all these big dramatic reshots that really wasn't really his film. It just seemed that they wanted him to take charge, make the movie, and if they didn't like majority of the movie, let's go back to the drawing board. These board members will rewrite the script, write on the whiteboard what they wanted, and go, okay, take that out and finish the other half like this. And fans were aware of what was going on, and so the fans were saying release the Snyder Cut. So they wanted to actually see Zack Snyder's vision of the movie, and not just being invaded, but to be done his way, because it's like what Marvel's been doing with their films. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel, will tell his directors, look, I want you to make a good movie, but it needs to connect with all our other ones. So focus on making a good film first. It gives them the control, but at the same time, you need to have the connection. We need to find that connection from all the other films. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And I think with the fans creating this new movement, hopefully you'll actually get to see more of creative control, like full creative control for producers, writers, and actors. Hayden,
I'm back.
What happened?
My Wi-Fi went down. Sorry about that.
I thought your Krispy Kreme was in the microwave.
Oh no. No, I was like mid cover. I was like went on this whole rant, and I realized my whole screen wasn't moving. So I was like, oh dang it! But sorry about that.
It's okay. We were talking about the Snyder Cut and how the fans created this new movement to help bring Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I've just found that really awesome. And after this podcast, I'll send in the group chat all the trailers that for Steve to check out. We've heard the voice of Darkseid. We saw a new look of Steppenwolf. It's absolutely amazing. Like, have you seen anything? Hayden?
I saw like the first trailer that they announced, but other than that, I haven't looked at anything. I've seen what Joker looks like though.
I think you're going to be happy. Apparently, the early screenings, all these well-known directors that came to watch it, they said apparently they felt like their throat was ripped out of shock, and it is a director's masterpiece. It's like a piece of art, and they said it leaves you on the edge of your seat at the end of the film. I'm like, I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. I'm excited now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll send it through, but I've just found it really cool that the fans really fought for this, and I think studios should let the directors do their job.
Yeah. There's
well said.
There's far too much intervention. Once you've put a director in charge of a project, I think you should let him see it through. They're far too quick at listening to hearsay and whatnot, rather than just letting the director do his job.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. And I think I'm glad to see this new movement coming in. I know, like, an example. I know my brother will be watching this video. He doesn't like, it's not like he doesn't like DC. He prefers Marvel. He always goes, "Oh, I don't think it's going to be good." But hey, I think it's awesome the fact that Zack Snyder's saying, "I'm doing this for the fans that love Batman, that love Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman. Just the Justice League and DC in general." Like, I know, I'm a huge DC fan. I love it. Like, hence, I love my little Batmans around the house. But yeah, I just think it's just incredible the fact that we're getting what we always wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, this has been absolutely incredible to chat to you all. It's been great. I love the conversations today. But I think it's just so awesome that we could come together, fellowship, and we just want to praise the Lord that we could all come and talk about the things that we love. But most importantly, just to see you guys, just to put a smile on my face. It's been awesome, but we just want to encourage the people that are watching. Just if you love these shows, but what's more important is the Word of God and having a relationship with Him. So, hey, thanks so much for watching, and we'll let the other guys say goodbye.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Take care. Thanks for watching.
Bye.